Hello gentle viewers, this is Avindian, welcoming you to a channel update video where I'm going to talk a bit about some of the games that you should expect to see on the channel in the coming months, end of 2020, beginning of 2021. Before I delve too deeply into the games that are coming next and when I'm going to be covering them and playing them again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the kind words that everyone had on Monday's OOTP 21 video. And I'm already going to warn you in advance, if you thought I was salty in that video, wait until next Monday. And I don't want to belabor that point, especially since there's a video already recorded on it. Full disclosure, I had not seen any comments when I recorded that second video. So I have not incorporated any of your suggestions into that next video. I'm not burning out on OOTP. I'm burning out on that particular series. And that's why I'm looking for suggestions and thoughts, especially after next week's video, for what we can do to keep the series fresh and exciting, both so that you can continue to get the 2 videos a week that I promised and that I want to give you, and so that I don't get tired of playing the game. So that's not going to change. The other thing that's not going to change is the Saturday videos, with one exception. This Saturday, I'm going to be playing Digital Wingspan. When I bought the board game, I got a coupon for like 30% off the digital version, which just released a couple weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I wanted to show you guys what Wingspan looks like if you play with the AI and not with the Automa. Playing Wingspan solo with the Automa is perfectly valid, and it's a completely fine way to play the game. But I just think it's a better game if you have other people to compete against. Following Wingspan this coming Saturday, starting next Saturday, we're going to go back to Tabletop Simulator, starting with Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu. And then I'll have some things to think about as far as where to go from there. I do plan on covering 3 of the 4 what I call like the branded pandemics, the ones that change the rules. So you'll definitely see in some order Reign of Cthulhu, Rising Tide, and if I can find the save for it, Fall of Rome. I will say that Pandemic Iberia isn't really my cup of tea. I'd still play it if someone wanted to. And if you guys are like, oh my gosh, if you don't cover Pandemic Iberia, I don't know how I can live my life, then I'll play it. I just don't think it's different enough from regular Pandemic. It adds like 2 new features, but other than that, it's not a reimagining like the other 3 in the series are. So that's coming to the channel. As far as other games that are good solo, I've got a couple of other thoughts, and there's always some games you can revisit, but I'm also curious for suggestions. The one thing I want to mention is I don't like playing games if I don't own them. And for instance, I don't own Marvel Champions, which someone had recommended. I plan on buying it eventually. I just have other games that are coming in that I want to play more before I start looking for a game like that. At some point, if I can, maybe when we move into a house, I have no plans like that for the future right now, but maybe someday. I want to put all my games in a Kallax or a nice board shelf, and then you guys can see what games I actually have. So if I decide, so if you make a comment about play this game, and I say thanks for the suggestion, but I don't explain why, that's probably why I'm not going to play it. It's just a personal thing for me. I like owning the board game and playing it a couple of times with the board game in front of me before I play it digitally, because I want to have a good level of familiarity with the rules and how everything works. There are a couple of 2-player games I've thought about playing in Tabletop Simulator 12 where I just play both sides. Imperial Struggle first among them, because Imperial Struggle is such an amazing game, and I really want to play it. Um, and there's some other games like that that might be coming to the channel with Tabletop Simulator. I don't think that's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I'm hesitant to say it will always be there. Um, like, if people just stop watching the videos or whatever, then okay, maybe I'll see the writing on the wall and I won't play it anymore. But at least for the next several weeks, there will be more Tabletop Simulator coming. As for the other games here, I just wanted to quickly introduce them, or reintroduce them as the case may be, and explain why I'm going to be playing them. These games are all candidates for the Wednesday series. 911 Operator is going to be, as you've already seen, the Wednesday series for now. In particular, it's probably going to be a one-episode series. I know I said 3 episodes in the video that posted yesterday, but I don't know. I think these other games just strike me as more fun and more exciting, and I want to play them. So, if you guys really dig 911 Operator, hopefully you'll give me comments and feedback to that in that direction, and then I can revisit it later on if I decide that's a thing that I want to do. But the other 5 games here are definitely games I want to play either for the first time or again. I guess they're all again, because I played all these games for the channel at least once before. But I want to kind of give you guys some expectations about when you should see these. Hearts of Iron IV is coming next. They just released the Battle for the Bosporus content pack, which features Bulgaria, Greece, and Turkey. And those all sound like great games to me. And so I really want to play the game. That's the other reason why I'm kind of cutting 911 Operator short, because I want to play Hearts of Iron IV. I don't know which of those 3 countries I'll be playing as. So do share your thoughts in the comments about what you'd like to see me pick. I am leaning Bulgaria because they're interesting historically, even if they wouldn't necessarily be the best actual country to play as in terms of winning the game. I think they'd be an interesting country to play as. But I'm not sold on that entirely, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about playing games in the future. After Hearts of Iron IV, it's kind of a toss-up. So I'm going to go alphabetically, and in no particular order of when these games would appear on the channel. Crusader Kings 3 is still tremendous fun. I love it. I want to play more of it. I am a little concerned about how overpowered Men-at-Arms seem to be right now. And I'm kind of hesitant to play it until I see that get rebalanced. Because you can win some battles with some truly stupid odds, like 4 or 5 to 1 with Men-at-Arms versus levies. And I think I don't think it's accurate for that period in history to see ridiculously stupid odds like that and the smaller army wins. It's definitely happened in history. It's just not really a medieval phenomenon, where you would see armies that are that different in size and yet the smaller one wins. So I'd kind of like to see that get patched, or at least addressed. I'm also a little curious to see if they go for any DLC in the near future. I think the game is fun as it is without DLC, but I'm curious to see what their first DLC plans are and how that might affect where I play next. I definitely want to play a European country, and I know I don't want to play in the UK, but beyond that I haven't really decided. So there will be more CK3. Never you fret, my friends. I'm just haven't reached specifically how I want to play it yet. Imperator Rome, I never thought I'd come back to it, but they're releasing a 2.0 patch in the coming months. That's going to reimagine a lot of the things in the game I didn't like. But I think I am older and wiser. Well, I will be older. I don't know about wiser. And I think I'm going to play a couple of test games before I commit to showing it on the channel. Um, because I'd only actually played one test game before I did the first one on the series. And I think that's part of the reason, as I was trying to learn the game as I was showing it to you. And I think it didn't work out as well as it could have. So I think once 2.0 releases, I'm going to try to play it for a few hours and then decide for certain if I want it on the channel or not. But what I've seen in the dev diary so far definitely inclines me to believe that they're really going out of their way to address some of the more egregious problems with the game. Specifically, just to pick one example, money is way too important in the current game to the point where if you don't have a big income, you're screwed. And it sounds like they're going to make some important decisions to mitigate that somewhat. Another game that could appear on the channel is Civilization VI. That's just a good filler game for me. It's a lot of fun to play, and it's got a clear beginning and end, so I know I'm not committing to like a 30-episode series. And I haven't played with the DLCs yet, but I've seen enough, and I kind of want to do that too, just to see how they work out. Next on the list is This War of Mine, the Final Cut, which is just all the completed content. This War of Mine is a great game. And when I am in the right mood for it, it's perfect. I haven't been in the mood to play it in a while, and I don't know when that's going to change. And I have a feeling it might be more of a Saturday game than a Wednesday game. Like, maybe if I get tired of Tabletop Simulator, or if I can't think of a good game, I might just say, okay, I'm going to do a series of This War of Mine. Because that only takes like 5 or 6 episodes to do a full series, assuming things don't go horribly wrong. And so I think it's just a really nice medium-length series I can just drop in when I need it. So that's what I'm thinking with This War of Mine. There is one other game that I can't show you right now because I am looking at Steam, which is Phoenix Point. Phoenix Point is a turn-based strategy game in the guise of XCOM, but with a lot of different changes to it, and I kind of loved it when I started to play it. I stopped because it did a bunch of balance changes, and because new PC. But I'm kind of eager to try it again, and they keep adding more content. And it seems like it's a really good one. It seems really, really good. So, that I think is a game that's probably going to be more maybe Q2 2021. Because I need to play that game myself first. And I've only played a handful of missions in it because I keep getting distracted by other games, or because they're like, hey, guess what? We're releasing a new expansion. And I'm like, okay, fine. So, it's going to be on the channel. I just need to decide when I'm going to start playing it and recording it for the channel. Lastly, I want to close on a game I don't think will be on the channel. A very good friend of mine recommended Xenonauts, which is XCOM set in the 60s, and I bounced off of it super hard. It's apparently a really long campaign. Like, I've heard people say they've played one campaign for like 150 hours, which is like, what? I can't even imagine playing a non-RPG that long. And even an RPG, I'd have my limits on. Like, I think The Witcher 3 I played for like 120 hours. I can actually check really quickly, and you can see some of the other games I have. Whee! I have too many games. Said no one ever. Here it is. 119 hours, and that's one playthrough with the main game and the DLC. And by the end of that game, as much as I love The Witcher 3, it's so good. I was like, nope, I'm done. I did not 100% complete that game to my everlasting shame. I just couldn't play it anymore. I just couldn't. So, I can't see playing Xenonauts for that reason. And a game with a campaign that's that long is just like, I'm ready to be obsessed about games. But that one in particular, I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind about it. And last but certainly not least, Phantom Doctrine was also recommended to me. And that's just a game I haven't sat down and played very much yet. But that is definitely a possibility. So, in the immediate future, we're still going to stick with 2 OTP21s, Hearts of Iron 4 starting next week, and Tabletop Simulator starting in 2 weeks again, this Saturday being Wingspan. And then we'll go right back to Tabletop Simulator. That's what's happening. Thank you all very much for watching the channel. It really means a lot to me to see views tick up. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. Comment on the videos that you watch, especially this one, for which country you want to see me play in Hearts of Iron 4. But until next time, this has been Avindian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you